Hello, everyone. It's Brian and Kim here, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 8. So, yeah, let's get on with the episode. I think this was a good episode. I think it was better than Episode 7. Very rushed. It was the penultimate episode. You know, we get the intro and stuff, and you know how it goes. We got the cannibal storyline in this version. So we start the episode and we see, some snowy mountains. It's like Silver Lake or something. They're in, I believe, Colorado or something. And, we see this town area, this cabin, the steakhouse, kind of like Jacksonville, with Tommy's place, except it's, different. It's cannibals. So we have, and I knew this was David. So we have, this guy, as you're watching the episode, reading Revelations 21. He's a pastor and this and that. And this is interesting. I did not expect this for the cannibals. You know what I mean? And there's a banner that says, "When we are in need, He shall provide." God. And all that. So this little girl is crying. Her name's Hannah, and he starts talking to her, and he mentions how they're gonna avenge her father. And I knew where this was going. Joel killed 2 episodes ago. Joel killed this guy, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be that guy. Like that was their father. That's the woman. Her name's Joyce. She looks a lot like Mel. So after that, we have everyone leaving the, congregation. They have the Bible services at the place where, they eat and stuff. It's like a meeting house. So yeah, the family leaves, and then we have James, actually. He goes to talk to David, and he mentions how they're running out of food, venison and this and that. It's getting harder to, catch deer and all that stuff. And, David is kind of just like, I see that their doubts, but I'll see yours. And he's just like, he wants to make sure that James is loyal to him, that he believes in him and all that stuff. And, James does say that, he's with him and all that stuff. Which, by the way, this is Troy Baker, which I didn't know. I knew it was going to happen, but I kind of forgot because he doesn't sound like Troy Baker, which just shows he's a talented voice actor. An actor. So we have Ellie. She's trying to take care of Joel. So despite the fact that she patched up his wound is, still infected. You know what I mean? He has an infection. He's sleeping a lot. He's not really getting better. He stopped bleeding, but, infection. That's what happens when you use a dirty needle, Ellie. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. So Ellie sees, a rifle, and they took this from the game. So in the game, actually, Ellie uses a bow, but in the show, she actually uses the rifle, which kind of makes TV Ellie less, BA than game Ellie, but still. Also, this was weird because in the episode, we actually hear a clicker as Ellie's going around the neighborhood to look for food in the woods and stuff. She hears a clicker, by the way, like, you hear a clicking sound. There's an infected, but we never see it in the episode. And it's never addressed, even by the hunters. So that was kind of weird. So I'm not sure what that's all about. Anyways, we see a cute bunny. Ellie sees a bunny, a giant, fluffy white bunny. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, listen, Ellie, I know you're hungry. Okay, I know you are, but please do not kill this cute, adorable, innocent bunny, because trust me, it's not enough food. You shoot it with a rifle. There's not going to be anything left of it. So, Ellie tries to, aim her rifle and all that. But the bunny actually is super smart and genius bunny. And he actually leaves. He actually moves away from Ellie, and Ellie trips on her face. Yes. Yeah. And after that, Ellie, decides to, pick up the pace, try to see if she can, she goes deeper in the woods to look for any food. And by luck, she sees a deer. And no CGI was used in this scene, or at least if it was, it looked good. So yeah, Ellie, you can clearly see that Ellie is absolutely amazed by the amazing CGI. That's the HBO budget right there, man. HBO's pockets, they can pull off the CGI deer very well. Take notes, Walking Dead, take notes. Anyway, Ellie, aims her rifle, and she removes her gloves, which is actually kind of cool. It just shows the realism, because when you fire a rifle, you can't really, per se, you always use gloves. And Ellie times it right because I think she uses what Joel did. She tries to, really concentrate and, do her breathing when she fires. And the way they're showing the deer, man, this deer looks amazing. It's so good. Fantastic. And Ellie actually fires her rifle, and she actually hits the deer. It actually goes down, but then it comes back up and starts running and all that. So Ellie's just like, what the heck? And, she runs after it because, yeah, it's like she literally hit the deer, it's like it should be dead. And by the way, like my brother, Robert, actually caught a deer once. So, this is, Yeah, he should watch this episode or the scene. Yeah, so we get an amazing shot in the woods. It looks so good. So Ellie sees the blood trail from the deer, which is like the game, except this was more kind of rushed, which is kind of understandable, makes sense. The game stretches out a lot. So you have David and James. They find the deer and looking around to see anybody because realistically, wouldn't someone just take the deer? So I guess the person they assume the person is not far, but then Ellie shows up. Very Kevin McAllister-like, and she's like, "Hey, you idiots, back away from my deer," kind of thing, which is very funny. Honestly, with David and James, let's be honest, they're Harry and Marv from Home Alone. This episode is pretty much Home Alone, if you think about it. I don't know, it's just, yeah. Anyway, Ellie decides to make a deal with them, that they're going to get half the deer in exchange that she gets medicine, penicillin, for Joel, to save Joel's life kind of thing. She plays off that I'm in a group and this and that, and by the way, in the game they say that they have women and children to feed, but obviously they were lying. But in the show, they're actually telling the truth, which I do like. It kind of adds more realism. So Ellie, also I like how Ellie unloads the rifles, so even if they pick it up, the shot's not in. So I kind of like that. A lot of realism. And I will say one negative I have though is they took away the infected in the scene, because in the game actually they go in this warehouse and they are exploring and they get attacked by infected, and Ellie and David fight them off. And it kind of results in David liking Ellie, sort of thing, But in the show, they kind of don't do it. But anyway, he mentions to Ellie how he's religious, how he found God after the apocalypse, his group and stuff. They were in a QZ in Pittsburgh, I think. And he just mentions how everything happens for a reason and this and that. Ellie kind of diss religion, which is not cool. You can't diss religion, even if it's a crazy guy. You could just call him crazy, but don't diss the religion. So anyways, after that, he mentions how everything happens for a reason. He even mentions how they lost a guy who went into town. A girl her age lost her father to a guy who was traveling with a little girl, and boom, it's like, oh yeah, we knew it was going to happen. So James comes back. Oh yeah, Ellie got suspicious and she points her rifle and she's just like, that's it, I'm getting out of here kind of thing. You know what I mean? So anyways, after that, we have Ellie, so James gives her the penicillin, he tells, like in the game, he's just like, give her the medicine and whatever. And man, can you imagine if like James actually didn't have the medicine? It's like, oh yeah, that's just water in the bottle or something. That would be kind of crazy. So Ellie makes a run for it. She runs back to the house. She doesn't have any food, and she gives Joel the medicine. And by the way, it's like, Joel, you gotta do some sit-ups, buddy. Okay, like just pointing it out there. Also, Ellie, like Ellie, unlike in the game, was just like, where do I put this needle? Which was very realistic. I did like that scene, because even I was like, okay, do you put medicine literally over an infected wound? Like how do you do that with the penicillin? And she does it twice in the episode, by the way. She gives Joel injections. So we get that scene from the game where she sleeps next to Joel. And we get something that wasn't in the game. So we have the characters, we have the people in the cabin, they're cooking and stuff. And I was just wondering, I'm like, okay, we know they're cannibals. We know. The question is, like, when do we see it and stuff? And we see this like red meat that's brought. And I thought like, okay, well, this is the deer, right? But then they're kind of focusing on the meat. So I'm like, even the woman, Joyce, is like, what is this? And the guy's like, it's venison. But it's like, this is the crazy part. That's actually her husband's flesh, like her ex-husband. You know what I mean? It's like, this is dark, because David and James, they bring back the deer, but everyone's not happy. And he mentions how, I guess you all heard the rumor that we came across the little girl that was with the man who murdered Alec, the father, Joyce's husband, the guy they lost 2 episodes ago. And I'm just kind of like, wait, how did everyone hear this? This doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, we get a scene where Hannah tells, David that he should have killed both of them, Joel and Ellie. And he flat out slaps her. And it's like, oh man, it's like abuse, It's like, listen, David, you say you're a man of God, but let's see, you cannibalize and you hit little girls. It's like, yeah, I don't think God will be happy with that, David. And he tells Hannah to show respect, that kind of thing. And because he decided he wants Ellie to live. They're going to kill Joel, but Ellie gets to live. And they're praying for the food and all that. And I'm not sure why he's sitting down on the table with them, because he's not their father, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. So they're, blessing the food and this and that. And, you have the people eating the food, and, they're hungry and stuff, they're eating it. But here's the thing, though. You see one guy who hesitates when he eats the food. And that's because we find out later in the episode that they do cannibalize. This was human meat. And the majority of people didn't know it, but a few did. And they were kind of hesitating when eating the meat. And it's just, I like that realism. So it's morning time, and, Ellie wakes up. And, she is just trying to, she wants to make sure they weren't followed. So she takes the horse outside, which, by the way, man, this poor horse probably needs to use the restroom or something. He's in the basement, now he's in the garage. Man, he's getting his steps in. This horse, man, he's awesome. Hopefully nothing bad happens to him. And, we have Ellie putting a bunch of snow in a bucket. I'm not sure what she's doing, but it's like, man, this horse has to be starving. Like, seriously, like, what does the horse eat? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if you guys can tell me what was up with her putting the snow in the bucket. I didn't really get that scene, because the horse is like eating the bucket, or he's licking it. So is it like water, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. So we have Ellie looking around in the neighborhood. She kind of, I like this. So she saw birds flying in the air, and that tells her that there's people in that direction, which is kind of smart. I like that. So you have her seeing men in, with guns and stuff, and James is kind of like not sure about sparing Ellie, because like, well, what if she tries to kill us and this and that? What if we find the guy? Just, what I mean? There's a lot of things, but David is, stubborn about keeping Ellie alive, that kind of thing, which, he's a villain, and he's just like, let's let the person who kill us live, kind of thing. So Ellie makes it back to the house, and she gives Joel a knife. She tries to wake him up, and she's like, Joel, listen, okay, people are going to come here. They're going to try and kill us. You got to wake up, and, Joel is just like, I just want to stay here and sleep, kind of thing. It's like, oh, man. So yeah, we have the guys, they're going around the neighborhood, and they decide to do the most, they decide to do the horror movie cliche. They decide that they were going to split up, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So, you have Ellie walking around her horse, and this is not exactly smart. She kind of gets her attention by just shouting and saying, hey, guys, and she fires. So we have James, who, uses his gun, and I'm not sure how he got around Ellie, but he freaking shoots the horse, and, like, Ellie falls off, and it's like, oh, man, like seriously? It's just like, I'm pretty sure the horse did die in the game, too, but it's like, I don't think it was like that, you know what I mean? Ellie got to use it longer, sort of thing, and also, I don't think Ellie was knocked out. So Ellie was knocked out here, and James was about to kill her, kind of finish her off, and David wastes a bullet, or, he fires his gun, and he's just like, we're gonna take her back, sort of thing. And he tells the guys to, like, want a few guys to bring the horse, and then the rest to look around the neighborhood. But it's like, man, how many guys are you gonna need to drag a horse, So he carries Ellie and this and that. And, that's pretty much what happened. So you have, like I said, you have the guys do the Scooby-Doo thing, the horror movie cliche. They decide to split up and look in the houses, which, wow, not very smart. So yeah, this random guy's looking around. He goes down to the basement looking for Joel, and we see that Joel has moved from his spot. So I guess Joel teleported or something. Like, I don't really know how. We didn't see where Joel was hiding. He just kind of appears from the guy. I guess Joel became a ninja or something, which is pretty impressive. And he stabs the guy in the neck, and oh my goodness, this guy takes forever to die. Like, seriously, 30 seconds, and he's just like come on. And Joel, kind of like collapses on the ground because he's still very hurt and all that. So anyways, after that, we have Ellie. She kind of wakes up. It was an interesting transition. You have Joel on the ground, now Ellie on the ground, and she's just kind of like knocked out. She has like a small concussion, I guess, because she, fell off the horse. And she's just, asking David, like, this and that. David wants to talk to her, get to know her, and this and that. But Ellie's just like, I'm not having this. You kidnapped me, you sicko, I have my friend and this and that. And he's just like, oh, well, we're going to kill your friend, but we're going to keep you. It's like, right. You're kidnapping a child, David. Like, it's just, yeah. Anyways, elsewhere in the neighborhood, you have some random guy who sees something, and he decides to look around, and he sees one of his friends has collapsed on the ground in the snow, and then boom, Joel shows up out of nowhere and knocks him out, and we have the guy tied to a piano or something, but you hear punches, and like in the game, we see Joel is like punching the snot out of the guy in the chair. He's doing the torture thing. He's like literally asking the guys, okay, where's Ellie? Where's the girl? And I love the scene where he takes the knife out, and he's like, I'm gonna bust your kneecaps, like pop them, like, It's very Pedro Pascal did so well in this scene, I gotta admit. And you know what I mean? It's just it's cool seeing Game Joel kind of like brought back. You know what I mean? And they kind of so Joel does the thing where he's like, listen, you're gonna show me on the map where we are, where this is, because I think the town was renamed, like it was like Salt Lake, but it's also like a resort and this and that. So yeah, Joel just flat out stabs the guy, and the game he actually snaps his neck, but here he just stabs him, and the guy's freaking out, calling Joel names, and then Joel just takes this pipe, which is just like the game, and he just stands over him, and it's like, oh man, it's like, hey, listen, Joel got his head smashed. Pedro got his head smashed in by the mountain in Game of Thrones, and he got his game version smashed in by Abby, and he's gonna get it in season 2. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna bash in your head, okay? I gotta bash in somebody's head, kind of thing. Yes, I'm kidding. He tells the guy that, hey, I believe the guy, but I'm gonna kill you anyway, sort of thing. And they kind of cut it, which to be fair, we kind of knew was gonna happen, because even in the game they did that. So afterwards, we see Ellie. She's trying to escape, and this and that. She's trying to find like a thing with the lock. But yeah, it's crazy how 20 years in the apocalypse, this fence and lock is still working so well, which is kind of crazy. It's like, man, do fences like that really stay well that long? It's crazy. Yeah. So Ellie so David comes in and brings us some food, I guess, but in the game she doesn't. In the game she eats it, trusting David. That's not human meat, sort of thing. But then, but she doesn't in the show. And Ellie kind of sees some ears in like the drain and stuff, or like on the floor. And yeah, like I guess it was the guy, but then again I'm not sure. But yeah, Ellie is just kind of. She's, David's kind of mentioning how, like, listen, they didn't want to eat people, but he's just saying, like, well, what was I supposed to do? Let everyone starve? And it's like, well, no, but it's like, dude, like, you fed a woman and her daughter, their father/husband, like, you fed the dad to them, And, it's just like, it's just weird. Like, he just mentions how, I see you, Ellie, you're strong, you're confident, you're loyal, you're this and that. We want you in our group, you're violent. I'm the same way. You and I are the same, kind of thing. It's kind of a typical villain cliche where it's like, hey, listen, you could, I don't know. In the game, it makes sense. But in the show, he didn't really see Ellie do anything other than catch a deer, sort of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, it's just kind of sudden. It's kind of rushed that this guy's just obsessing over Ellie. Like in the game, it makes sense, like I said, but in the show, I don't know. And it's just like, he just says like, I need help. I need help feeding these people and all this and that. And I think you'd be an asset. And it's like, dude, like you eat human beings. Like, what part of that do you think she wants a part of? Like, it's just weird. So then we get the thing from the game where he, puts his hand, in the cell. And then, Ellie does the same thing, but opposite direction, obviously. Ooh. And then we get to the part where I'm nearly about to barf. He puts his hand on top of her. And he says, think of what we can, do together, build together. It's like, okay, dude, like, oh my goodness. Where's the FBI when you need it? Because, yeah, this guy is definitely the man they're looking for. So Ellie does a smart thing. She puts her hand over him, and then she twists his finger, and she is probably like, who's better, me or Game Ellie? And, breaking his fingers. And I don't know, it's just, that'll be funny. Who's better, me or Game Ellie? And then he's probably just like, Game Ellie. Game Ellie is always better. I have to tell the truth. I don't know. But yeah, she breaks his fingers and she reaches for the key, just like in the games. Yeah, this scene was very similar to the games. That's one thing I want to bring up. But unfortunately, he bashes her head against the fence or the bars, and, he escapes. Ellie doesn't get the keys. And, yeah, Ellie is very hurt, and he calls Ellie a bad word, and then he's just like, well, the deal's off, like, you're not one of us, kind of thing, or you don't get the chance. And he mentioned how, you're gonna, what'd you say, something about cut up pieces? Yeah, that sounds all right. Just like the game, the dialogue is very similar, but, Ellie's just like, my name is Ellie, and she's like, shouts at him that, like, tell them I'm the one that broke your finger, like, kind of thing. So yeah, he leaves. And then, yeah, so after David leaves, Ellie's just kind of, sitting there, not knowing what to do. And afterwards, we have Joel, walking around in the town, it's all snowy and stuff. And as he's walking around the town, he enters a building, and he sees some stuff lying around. He looks around, and he actually finds Ellie's backpack, actually, which is actually, this is just like the game, except in game, Joel actually puts Ellie's backpack in his backpack, so like it's like a backpackception kind of thing. But this is, the Last of Us show is trying to be, real life. There's not a endless inventory space kind of thing. So yeah, you see Joel holding on to the backpack instead. Anyways, afterwards, Joel's looking around. He's coming across some canoes from the resort, where they have it in storage. And then he sees just random floating, not floating, but hanging bodies. And yeah, this episode said there would be nudity, but I didn't really see it per se. Which is good. I don't want to see that, but it's just one of those things where it's like, oh wow, like, so Joel sees hanging, human bodies, and he kind of gets an idea of what's going on. So we have David and James who come back, and Ellie tries to fight them off. And at some point, Ellie actually bites David here, but I don't get to see it. I think in the game I see it, but yeah, I don't see it in the show. So anyways, after that, Ellie tells David, she is begging him not to, kill her, and all that, but they're not listening. So Ellie decides to reveal she's infected, which, is very smart. Just like in the game, she's like, I'm infected, and now you are too. So, he looks at his bite, and, the guys are kind of, oh wait, did she say she was infected? No, sorry. I meant to say, no, she reveals to them that she is 14, and James is probably like, James and David are probably like, oh shoot, she's 14? We're gonna go to jail, and then, so, they see that, she was 100% telling the truth, and, Ellie's just like, everything happens for a reason, right? And, the guys are kind of panicking, they're talking, they're like, oh man, what are we gonna do? Is she really telling the truth? Because it looks like she is, and it's just, not good, and, and then Ellie, uses this to her advantage, like in the, game, and she takes the machete and flat out kills Troy Baker. So yes, Ellie kills Troy Baker, just putting it, the knife in him and the blade in him, and then David tries to shoot her, but she escapes, and after that, Troy Baker is dead. Like James, he's just dead. Like, yep. And afterwards, we have David chasing Ellie, and Ellie has this like branch, like this piece of dry wood that has like fire on it, so she tries to throw it to David but misses, but it hits the curtains, which is interesting. So it's kind of weird how David decides not to put that out or anything, but yeah, afterwards the place is burning down, the curtains caught on fire, and yeah, the place is catching fire real fast. It's very dry. So afterwards, Joel is looking for Ellie. Like I said, he has the backpack on his side instead of in his backpack, because there's no backpackception in this universe. So Ellie is looking around. She finds a random knife in the kitchen, kind of thing, kind of small knife. So he's just, David needs to pick a lane. Okay, is he in love with Ellie? Does he want her like that, which is super gross? Or does he want to be her father? Because he's like, listen, okay, I'll let you live again. Just come on out. There's nowhere to hide and this and that. And, Ellie is just like, she's hiding in like some counter and stuff. And this is one thing I do like over the games. I think the games overdid it, because in the games you have to hide behind David and stab him multiple times and then run back to cover because David overpowers you and kills you instantly. But they changed this in the show, where she just stabs him once and boom, cutscene kind of thing, just like in the game. So yeah, I mean, I kind of prefer this version, because like The Last of Us kind of overdoes it with the characters are immortal. So Ellie sees, she stabs David, but she falls down, and she sees his machete kind of thing, a butcher's knife kind of thing, and she gets her Carl moment where she's being held down, and this guy, he's getting all creepy and stuff. So Ellie reaches for the blade, and honestly, this was well deserved on David's part. I kind of wish we got to see it, in my honest opinion. But she swings the blade and hits David, badly hitting him, and he falls over, and Ellie just stands up and she rushes. They were faithful in the games to this. And this is Bella Ramsey's best scene right here, when she is hacking David's head off to pieces. It's so good. I literally felt like this was game Ellie It did not feel like Bella Ramsey. It felt like Game Ellie. The way she was just screaming and crying and raging out, stabbing him in the head over and over again with the blade. It was dark, it was gritty, it was brutal, and yeah, I'm like, okay, yes, this is full on 100% loyal, faithful Last of Us. I'm like, this is what I wanted, and like seriously, this is Bella Ramsey's best scene as Ellie by far. It's one of the few times where she actually felt like Game Ellie 100% instead of an adaptation kind of thing. Like she felt 100% faithful, and I really appreciate that, and I give that to Bella Ramsey for portraying the Ellie character very well in this scene. And unlike in the game, we have Joel actually does not find her inside. They actually changed this up, so it's kind of rushed in that way, because Ellie actually, so after she killed David, yeah, man, just the look on Ellie's face and everything. So after she killed David, she goes outside, and then Joel kind of sneaks up all of a sudden, and, he tells Ellie, and we get the scene from, like, in the game where he says, baby girl, like, I'm here, and this and that, Ellie's crying, which is very well done. Pedro Pascal did a good job with that, like, I will admit, and, Ellie's crying, and he says that they have to go, and all that stuff, and I like the scene where, Joel gives Ellie his jacket, because, yeah, Ellie lost her purple jacket that, Maria gave to her back in episode 6, I think. So yeah, unfortunately that jacket didn't stay long, but yeah, I like that scene. And then afterwards, Joel is helping her move, I guess, and stuff, like, and they're walking together, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, Joel and Ellie, I'm not sure why they're walking in a straight line, because that's where the river is. Like, are they going to move to the side? I don't think the lake is 100% frozen. I don't think they should go on it. Listen, Joel, Ellie, you guys are awesome, but there is only one human being that could walk on water, okay? And you guys are not him, okay? So I just want to point that out, okay? You guys are not really going to walk on that frozen cold water, are you? Like, I don't think it's a good idea. So yeah, guys, that's it for the episode. That's it for my review. And yeah, what I think about it. I think this was a very good episode. And, it was kind of rushed, but, I kind of wish we got 2 episodes of The Hunters, in my opinion. But yeah, I still did really enjoy it. There was, the acting was amazing. My biggest flaw with the episode is we definitely should have had the, some infected in this episode, because I just feel like seriously, like I said before, just 2 episodes of infected in an entire season in a zombie apocalypse show, I'm like, it's just too little. Like, think about it, The Walking Dead has, like, every episode has lots of zombies, or, you know what I mean, in 16 episodes, but it's like Last of Us only gets 2 for 9 episodes, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't know, that's too little in my opinion. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for my review. If you liked my review, please let me know down in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this episode down below. And until then, I will see you all next time, guys. We are here. We are almost at the almost at the season finale of The Last of Us Season 1. We are going to see the, final hour, I guess you can say, of The Last of Us Season 1 story adapted. Well, from the game to the show adapted. And yeah, guys, I'm excited. I hope you do a good job with the finale. I hope it's satisfying. And yeah, guys, I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye.